Most people don't struggle with wanting to stack gold. They struggle with turning it into a repeatable plan. Good morning, it's today again. Welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph, and I store 20% of my income in the form of rare coins and precious metals. Today, I want to walk through a simple gold stacking plan, how I think about it, how premiums fit into it, and how to actually stay consistent over time. Congratulations to Histoven Turner for being the first comment on my last video. Find him in the comments below to start a conversation, and if you want to be shouted out, make sure you get to the comments first. Well, gold is expensive. That's just the reality. So if you don't build a plan around it, gold becomes something you keep pushing off. The plan starts the same way as silver, with your routine. Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever lines up with your paychecks, really. And just like silver, the number doesn't have to be big, it just has to be consistent. A lot of people save up until they can afford an ounce, but in doing so often means buying nothing. When I first started buying gold, I had the 1 ounce size in mind, and I wanted to save up every week until I had enough to buy an ounce. However, gold price kept rising so quickly that I couldn't save fast enough. After doing some math, I realized that if I would have bought 10 1/10 ounce size coins over time as I was able to buy them, it would have been cheaper than the 1 ounce coin I ended up with all the way at the end of that time. I'll spend more time on how the premiums differ, but that is when I fell in love with fractional gold. Fractional gold lets you stay active without breaking your plan, and staying active is the best way to make sure stacking actually works. And this is where premiums start to enter the conversation. So here I have 3 different 1 ounce coins. They're all vastly different premiums. I don't have all the coins here I'm going to be talking about, but I'll do my best. The biggest thing to note when we're talking about modern bullion is that purity matters the most. Coins like the Krugerrand and the American Eagles are 22 karat, while the Buffalo, Canadian Maple, Britannia, and pretty much every other coin is a 24 karat or 4/9 gold coin. And the preference for 4/9 gold definitely shows in the premiums. The higher premium will be attached to a 4/9 gold, while the lower premium will be attached to 22 karat. Now, there is a little bit of an exception to this rule just because American products have the highest premium. And the reason this is the exception is because it means that the 22 karat American coin actually falls slightly above most other 24 karat coins as well. But the 24 karat gold Buffalo will definitely be the highest premium. I do have a few more examples that I could go over in the 1/10 ounce size. So that idea that 24 karat is at a higher premium stays throughout all of the coinage. So here we have some 10th ounce 22 karat coins, the American Eagle and the South African Krugerrand. And I do have a few 24 karat coins, one from Australia, Canada, and another from Mexico. So of these, if I were to put these in order from lowest premium to highest premium, it would be the South African Krugerrand, the Australian Lunar Series. Then I would say the Canadian Maple and American Eagle kind of flip back and forth depending on the market. And most of the time, the Mexican Libertad is above the American Eagle. However, that does change depending on supply and demand in your area. So that's the basics of 22 karat versus 4/9 fine or 24 karat coins. But there is another factor we have to talk about here, which is the specific size you go with. Here I have a 1/10 ounce American Eagle and a 1/4 ounce American Eagle. So when it comes to coins, the smaller the coin, the higher the premium. And it's really not just a little bit. I mean, a 1 ounce coin, you could expect to pay 2 to 4% premium, where the 10th ounce, you might be paying 9 to 12% premium. And then there's the wild card that most people don't talk about that is actually the lowest premium option, circulated gold. Some of this stuff circulated and passed through hands of people to purchase things throughout time. I think this is some of the coolest gold, and you can actually get it for the cheapest. My local coin shop sells almost all of this stuff at only a 3% premium, even though it's fractional size. And we'll get into what the prices of all these actually are, but before we do that, we'll get into some honorable mentions that are what you should stay away from. These are tiny, tiny generic gold pieces. Here I have a 100th ounce and a 200th ounce. These are almost double gold in the premium that they charge online. And then we also have the 1 gram size. The 1 gram size is typically a 20 to 25% premium on the gold. While you can get it for less than $200 at the current prices, it is not a very efficient way to stack. So I would stay away from it at the beginning. All right, I'm going to set up a display here so we can talk about all these premiums and how they compare to each other. All right, so here we have a 1/4 ounce eagle, a 10th ounce eagle, a 10th ounce maple, and some circulated gold towards the end. The circulated gold, I have the most common types of them: American, Mexican, and British. And then I'd say the other very common type is the 20 franc variety, but I don't currently have any. That's probably going to be one of my next purchases when it comes to gold. But I will, all the way at the end, include the math for the 20 franc coin, so we'll be able to talk about that as well. Gold price is currently $4,330. So this is the number we're going to use while we compare all these premiums. On the far left side, I have a 1/4 eagle, and for a 1/4 ounce, I would imagine the premiums to be anywhere between 8 to 10%, and for the 10th ounce, that would be anywhere between 9 and 12%. So for these two, we're going to use the highest numbers. That would be 10 and 12%. For the Canadian maple, I imagine it to be half to 1% cheaper, so we'll go with 11% on the Canadian maple, while the rest will be at 3%. With gold at $4,330, that would make the 1/4 ounce eagle approximately $1,190, the 10th ounce eagle about $485, the 10th ounce maple would be $480, the $2.50 coin, which has 0.1209 ounces, would be $540, the 5 peso, which has 0.1206 ounces, would be about $538. The 2 peso that has 0.0482 ounces would have $215. The sovereign at 0.2354 ounces would be $1,050. And the 20 franc, which has 0.1867 ounces, would be $832. Wow, that is a lot of numbers. Even though there are a lot of different sizes and there's a lot of math and percentages that get involved with gold, gold does not have to be complicated. That's why everything is shown at a percentage over spot when it comes to the premium. So now I've given you the numbers. What you are to do with this is up to you, but my actual suggestion would be to look more into the circulated gold. I've been becoming a huge fan of this circulated gold, not only because of its cheap price, but also because the rich history that is behind all of these gold pieces. There are plenty of individuals who stack exclusively a specific country's gold at a specific size. Say, for example, only stacking the 2 pesos every 2 weeks. That would be a really great option, and honestly, pretty exciting to watch. So if you do plan on doing that, think about making a YouTube channel. But really, any goal could be specific to a size and a timeline. For me, I've decided to purchase gold every time there's a 5th Thursday within a month. I get paid every Thursday, so this 5th one is like an extra paycheck. This comes up 4 to 5 times a year. In 2026, that is 5 times this year, and I'm planning on purchasing at least a 1/4 ounce of gold. Now, if my coin shop has a 1/4 ounce, I'd be just purchasing that. But if it doesn't, I'll be getting a 10th ounce and a circulated gold coin. In addition to that, when that 5th Thursday comes up, I'm going to be using these opportunities to sell a little bit of my silver into either gold or platinum to rebalance my portfolio and make sure I'm within a specific range of percentages of my portfolio. So now we're getting into a little bit more of an advanced technique, but overall, my goal is 5 purchases throughout the year of at least a quarter ounce of gold. And that is the type of structure that actually works in stacking, defining a time period and a size of the metal that you're going to be purchasing. Everything else, you'll figure out. So I hope this video helped. If you like the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Go down in the comments to ask questions, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. But just remember, every ounce adds up, so no matter how small, just keep stacking.